Hello, and good afternoon, or good evening, or wherever you are. Today I'm working on more Kyrias. This one is going to be with box jades. It will have two rotary encoders and LEDs and OLEDs. So I just need to figure out where all those things need to go. But, of course, the next thing to do on here is all the stuff on top. So socketing the controllers, doing the OLED bridges, um, actually getting the controllers on there and socketing, and hopefully this time not forgetting to solder all of the legs on the backside. TRS jacks, the resistors, the reset buttons. Then I will figure out where the encoder is going on each hand, and if there are stabs or anything like that. I don't think this one had stabs, but we will find out. And sorry, that was probably very loud. This one does come with a cable, so I won't have to give them one of mine by accident. So yeah, let's get cracking on this. So I'm going to do the controllers first. So we've got OLEDs, got controllers, and they're both Elite Cs. Okay. And we've got that. So I'm going to take the controllers here, stick the rest of the stuff back in the bag, and set it off to the side. Get this stuff out of here. I don't need the headers, but I always keep them because you never know when they're going to be handy. I have a whole box full of them now. Hello, Lorenzo. Oh, so I'm building 4 kyrias. Uh, they are they're custom builds that Thomas from splitkb.com sold, and I am just doing the assembly part of it. So that's why another Kyria, because I have the one I built yesterday, or finished yesterday, this one that I'm going to finish today, and then 2 more that I'm waiting for the rest of the parts for, but I will mostly finish if I have time today. One I'm waiting for switches, so I can finish that mostly up, but like, yeah. This one's switches came a little faster, so I have them. They're box jades. I've never used box jades before, so I hear they're very clicky, very loud, so I'm gonna test drive this one. It doesn't, the board doesn't come with caps, so I'm gonna put my own caps on, and then hopefully remember to take them off when I'm done. Okay. And since I went upstairs last night, I brought my small blue tape, so I don't have the giant blue tape today. I mean, I have it, but I also have the small blue tape, which is a little more manageable. Did I bring? No, I didn't. Okay. And hopefully, since I got a little practice screwing up yesterday, I won't screw up as much today. But, you know, I'm going to screw up. That's just how life is. But it's fine, because as long as I catch myself and as long as I fix my mistakes, screw up as much as I want. Okay. Ugh. The tip of my soldering iron looks like crap. I am not a huge fan of loud switches, but I will say that the week or so that I was using my Holy Pandas on my Reviung 41, I really enjoyed the switches, which made me very hopeful for the switches I have on there right now, which are the Boba U4s, which are very, very nice. Yeah, I love me some Robins for sure. Although I think I like the whites a little better. They are mostly interchangeable for me. I haven't A/B tested them to see which one I like better. So I'm really looking forward to hopefully Daryl makes some progress with Kale on his chalk switches he's trying to get them to make. Yes, the Bobas are silent, and that is why I like them. I like quiet switches because I like to work from coffee shops, and I don't want to be that guy who's got the loud ass clacky keyboard at a coffee shop. I know that's a foreign concept for the past year and a half, but one of these days I will be able to do it again on a regular basis. I can now. There is a coffee shop that's open nearby that has indoor seating, but that place, as you might imagine, is packed a lot. What's a coffee shop? It's a place where you go to buy drugs, at least in Amsterdam. Which is kind of funny because I went to Chile and I was talking to so one of the things I've discovered in my travels is that the best tours are the free walking tours. Most major cities seem to have them. The people are all volunteers. They work for tips. You don't pay anything unless you want to, and the tours are just fantastic. It is less of a productized thing, and you can definitely tell the people there seem to, at least in my experience, seem to care a little more about the experience because they're working harder to get paid, kind of thing, you know? And of course, I tip them well. But, anyways, one of my tour guides in Chile, I was asking him, where can I, do you know of any good coffee shops around here? He thought I was looking for weed because he has also done a lot of traveling around the world. And in Amsterdam, when you ask about a coffee shop, you're asking where to buy hash. Because here in the US, or at least in my brain, I want a coffee shop. I want a place where I can go that serves primarily coffee. As opposed to a cafe, which here is more like a diner, but maybe less dinery and more cafe. It's kind of hard. So it's weird because like if I ask about a cafeteria in Spanish, you know, I'm asking for a coffee shop, but it doesn't feel right to me. Because to me, that's a cafe. That's just a cafe. I don't know. There's a distinction in my brain between a coffee shop and a cafe. And coffee shop is not the right thing in some places. I just thought it was funny. Oh yeah, I was doing the rest of the controller. So one thing I discovered yesterday while I was working with these controller pins is I hate them. I like the diode leg better, but unlike the diode legs, I don't have to just do the corners, put the diode legs, or put the controller on, and then do the rest of them. Because they, ideally, you put these in, and they're in straight. So that means the whole controller can go in one shot. So they're a little easier to put in while the controller isn't there. Of course, I drop the damn things. That's one reason I don't like them, because they're so tiny. And they just love to pop out of my tweezers. And they're very sharp, so it's hard to push in with my finger. And if it's at all hard to push in, then if I push it in with the flat of this, it bends it. So it's just... they're not ideal, I guess is what I'm trying to say. See, I just bent one. Yeah. This is why I just solder my damn controllers. Because it goes super fast. Although maybe, you know what, I may have just gotten this system down. Maybe I take it back. So what I'm doing is I'm sticking that, and I really wish I could get this focused, but I can't because, of course, really hard to see. Sorry for the bad focus. But I'm just sticking it straight out the tip of my tweezers, and these tweezers have teeth on them. And then I'm just going straight down with it. And so far, that's actually working pretty well. And of course, I just lost another one. That's the problem with these, is that I have to squeeze them pretty hard to keep them in place and whatnot, but I squeeze them hard enough that when they shift and they eject themselves from my tweezers, they go flying, and there is literally no way I will find these again. Like, not even a little bit. They're gone. Oh, son of a... heat. Come on. Okay, there goes another one. Okay, and almost another one. I'm pretty sure these are magnetic. They are. So if I could, or they're mildly magnetic at least. So if I could magnetize my tweezers, this would help a lot, I think. But I'm not sure how to do that. I know there's supposedly a way to do it with a soldering iron, but it's one of the loop ones. I don't have one of those, and I'm not going to buy one just to magnetize my tweezers. Unless I can get one for like $5 at Goodwill or something like that. Well, that I think would be preferable to ejecting 10% of them to wherever around my workshop. Because these things are not that cheap retail wise. I think I am going to ask Thomas to send me some extras though, because I've eaten a little bit into my private stash with this project. Okay, so that's all of those in. Just checking the bottom is soldered. Okay, that is ready to go. Put this on. And this on. And then let's load up our flashy flash. Okay. Unplug the accessory using too much power. There's another bunk one. What the hell? Something is not right. Okay, and I don't remember if this is just connected to power. Okay, no, this is connected to my computer. Okay, well maybe it's not bunk. It's just something with the connector. Weird. First time I've had that problem. Kyria, no OLED, flash. Okay. Is this one, that one was also doing it? Okay. I wonder if it's because it's connected directly to the computer as opposed to going through a hub. So let me try, have another of these magnetic cables that's connected through a hub to my computer. It's actually connected through two, no. Yes. through two hubs. It's connected through the monitor and then to the computer. Hello, Bruno. I am well. How are you today? Okay, that's doing it too. Okay, well, I'm gonna give up on those connectors, I guess. That's super frustrating. Okay, that one's flashed. That one's flashed. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna set that right there for now. Move on to the other one. Turn my soldering iron temperature down. It doesn't need to be up on full blast right now. If you like tactiles and you want chocks, the way to go is clickies. Because chalk tactiles, the browns are not good, and the burnt orange is the novel keys. It's like a heavier brown. Is also not good. There was some science being done in the low profile keyboard server about putting lighter springs in browns. That helps a little bit maybe with the bump, but I haven't tried them. Basically, I just use whites and robins. They're clicky, but they're not terrible, and they're much better tactile. Also, Daryl from the lowprokb.ca server, also low profile keyboard server. He's the Cornish Zen guy. He's trying to get Kale to work with him to design a better tactile, or really silent switches, but tactile and silent linear are what he's going after specifically. He does want a whole line, so he does want like clickies too, but mostly focus on the tactiles. I am excited for the prospects. I am not holding my breath, not because Daryl won't give it his all, but because it'll take a long time no matter what happens, and Kale is just kind of dragging their feet, so basically it's kind of like new batteries or a cure for cancer or something like that. Like, yeah, cool, that's cool that you know, people are working on that and there's news coming about it and stuff like that, but until it's like, okay, cancer is cured, or we have good chalk tactiles, until I can order it, it's all speculation. Or better batteries. Yeah, robins or whites. Those are the ones I go with. There's several others, I think, but I like those. I have robins in my chalk corn, and I have whites in my Revion LP. And I don't think I could tell the difference between the two, other than they just sound different because one's in a case and the other is a PCB. But like functionally identical for me. But they just pale in comparison to MX tactiles. Like there's just Xylants or Pandas or I mean Bobas. They're all just phenomenally. They're on another level. Oh come on. Ow. No, I did not just burn myself. What are you talking about? What are T1s? Are they a silent linear or linear is not something I have a ton of experience with. I have some cherry reds that I used very briefly, and I have boba gums that I really fell in love with immediately, and in fact switched to them exclusively for a while because they were so nice. Haha. Well, I wonder if I finally did it. I soldered the controller into the socket. Well, I'm definitely bending the crap out of my tweezers. Yep, I think I did. All right, well, we're just going to leave that for now and come back to it in a bit. Controller works. Okay. So, resistors. Reset switch time. sometimes the TRS jack will kind of snap into place, and sometimes it won't. And I don't know what the difference is between the ones that do and the ones that don't. Is it the jack? Is it the footprint? Is it me? But I usually put a little piece of tape on anyways, just in case. Because I like it to be flush with the board. Okay. Now it is LED time. So yesterday, I did all 20 LEDs with no mistakes. Are we gonna over under on how many I do today without mistakes? Basically, how many do I have to fix on this board when all is said and done? And of course, you know, being the person doing it, I have to bet that I'm going to do it all in one shot. Okay, so these are all oriented with the notch going that way. And the rules of the game are that the total isn't tallied until I go to turn the thing on. So I can do as much inspection and fixing and everything I want to do before I plug it in that first time. And that's fine. But I plug it in that first time and they better be all red. And if they're not, then it counts how many I have to fix before they're all red. Yes. And feel free to be pessimistic. I will not be sad if you're like, you're going to have to fix every single one of them. The only thing I'll say is I got them all in one shot yesterday, so that's what you're working with. One on each side, okay? All right, let's see what we got. Sorry for the view of the back of my head. My current favorite split, I'm going to have to go with the Reviung 41. I know it's not split, it's a unibody split, but this is my favorite keyboard, period. I love this thing. Especially now that I've got the Boba U4s in it. Oh, this thing is just delicious. Second favorite is probably my chalk corn. Or maybe my chalk V2 corn. And then third, very close third, being my Reviung LP, which is a chalk space, chalk switches version of this. I have a feeling, though, that what's going to happen is the guy who, and I can't remember his name right now, I apologize. The guy who converted or rebuilt, or whatever you want to call it, the Reviung 41 to LP, I think he's working on a version for chalk V2 switches. I think that one's going to end up being my end game, because I'll run that with no case, soldered switches, and a nice nano, and I think that'll be perfect, because it gets me the V2 browns, which are actually pretty decent, without having full-size MX switches, which are just a little too big for travel purposes. And I kind of like MX spacing better than chalk spacing. Maybe it's mostly the switches that I have, but I feel like I typo less. I feel like it's more comfortable. Like there's space between the switches. I feel like, or the caps. I feel like I like MX spacing a little bit better. And since chalk V2 switches use MX caps, you MX space them. And I have a chalk V2 corn, and it's awesome. I love it. But I like the unibody of the Reviung. I think it's a nice compromise for me. Okay. Arrows to the lower right on these. Yeah, V2 uses, chalk V2 uses the same caps. It is a little bit different because some of the caps sit low enough or they're narrow enough underneath that they'll hit the switch body, but you just kind of shave those out a little bit. Like with a knife or a deburring tool or something like that. And then apparently there's an issue with switch plates where most caps will hit the switch plate, but that's fine because I don't run plates generally. So that doesn't bother me that much. And, I mean, so I have the NP profile on my Revion, and I like it a lot. I haven't tried MT3 on it. I have also NP profile on my Chalk V2 corn. I haven't tried, well, I was going to say I haven't tried MT3 on it. I have, because my MX corn is MT3. But I would say it's between those two, at least right now, if I had to choose. Because I like the flat-ish tops of the NP profile versus scooped with the DSA. But I also like the extra scoopy scoops on the MT3, but they're also really tall. So it's, you know, just a combination of things. To be honest, though, I haven't tried a lot of MX switch profiles because I'm really picky about my switches. Or caps, rather. So I'm not the greatest person to ask. I've never used SA caps. NP is very similar to XDA. This is NP. So it's a uniform profile. They've got a flat-ish top. They're not perfectly flat. There's a little bit of dish to them, but not very much. But they're just really comfortable. I like the texture. I know that's not the profile, but I like these are from KBD fans, and I really like the texture on these. I think the printing looks nice too, you know. Although I have, I think, 3 cat profile sets coming, at least 2. And I have MBK, or not MBK. Well, I have MBK Legend, but MBK's, the profile isn't changing there. But I have, and this may be where I get myself in trouble. I have MT3, I have the extended 2048 kit, which is probably going to end up being my favorite just because I love the Legends. But I'm also kind of hoping that we can convince BIP to do an MBK version, but apparently he's very opinionated about his caps and is not interested in low profile or something, so I don't know. But that would be amazing, because I love that MBK, that format. Or the, not MBK, but extended 2048. I just love the Legends. A Fifi? What's a Fifi? Yeah, I seem to be the one person in the world who has Colovrac TTY. Because I have them, and they are delicious. They're what I have on my my MX corn right now. My only problem with the Susu Atari is the ABS shines really fast. That's why I don't have them installed on anything right now. There was a period of time where I was basically just buying anything I could get a cold rack set with because it's so rare. But now I'm more of a discerning customer, and I also stopped caring as much about cold rack legends. So it's basically like a corn with Kyria stagger. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. So I will say that going into the inspection on this side, I am feeling less confident about my soldering, and I think in large part that's because I started getting self-conscious about the LEDs being flat against the board, and that threw me off a little bit. But I think after I got the first pad down on all of them, I think I recovered and I think I'm fine, but I'm still a little bit less confident going into this. I'm gonna just touch this one up just a tiny bit. Just a dab more solder. Okay. Okay. but now I am feeling very confident. So, who was it? Bruno? No. Someone said one on each side. Yes, Bruno said one on each side. So, the rules are it's not how many don't light up because it's a chain. It's how many I have to fix to get them all to light up. Bruno says there's going to be one on each side. I say I've got them all in one. Moment of truth. That is all of them red in one shot on the one side. And the other, all of them. Yes! That feels really good. That feels really, really good. Sorry, Bruno. I win. But I thank you for the challenge because that makes me try harder. Okay, so I think that's everything but switches. And the OLEDs, but I'll put the OLEDs on... No, I'll do the OLEDs now, that's right. Because the switches I need to put the plate on for, and all that good stuff. So let me just double check the invoice to make sure I'm doing things right. Okay, OLED displays on both sides, socket microcontrollers, left rotary encoder position thumb cluster, innermost key. Right encoder position, innermost key. This one is using box jades. So I've got a pile of box jades over here. Okay. And it doesn't look like this gets stabs. Okay. Works for me. So I'm going to put the OLEDs on. Okay, one thing I definitely need to do today is take out the trash down here. My trash can is just full. And has been for a while. Arg. See you later, Lorenzo. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you. Oh, come on. That's weird. This OLED is like twisted on its frame. Okay, well, I twisted the board it's on a little bit to hopefully help with that, but that's a little wonky. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do now is I want to test that everything works, all the switches work. Because it's a lot, since this is soldered switches, it's going to be a lot harder to fix any problems after the switches go in. But you can just pretend like you've got switches by doing that. So, and I also want to flash the OLED firmware. So we're going to do that. Still have all red. Good to see. Flash. Then we get OLED. Okay. And we're going to try this again today, where I share part of my screen. Well, it adds character, but I mean, it's not my keyboard, so I'm a little anxious or a little nervous that it's going to be, someone's going to be like, what is this garbage? And I'll be like, sorry, that's how it came. Window capture, Safari, add source. Let's see. Safari, where's Safari? Can I not capture Safari? Oh, no, there we go. Okay. Boom. So it's doing this again where I can't transition to showing you this. But at least it's not locking up every couple of seconds. So that's good. I think that was actually a problem with my Reviung, because I had it by default. It seems it has the debug console enabled, the HID console. And so if I have QMK Toolbox open, it does some weird interaction with that, and it was just causing everything to wonk, to be a little weird. Okay, I'm going to transition to that. And this, why is that not showing? What if I move this? So that moves, but it's not showing you my window. That is really bizarre. Anyways, you're just not going to get to see my window where I'm testing this stuff. Sorry about that. Okay, so I can lose this. Okay. That's weird. That's backspace? Okay. It's not my key map, it's just the default. And yes, I noticed they're not all lit up right now. Okay, well maybe I'm gonna try one thing though. I'm gonna clear the EEPROM. And then we're gonna flash firmware. Then we're gonna unplug replug, and they don't all work. So there is, Bruno, still a chance that you might win, at least on one side. And I think I see what's wrong. I think it's this here. Okay. Yeah, and that's why I like to try again and again and again with these RGBs, because they're flaky sometimes, you know? They're just a pain in the ass. Okay. So we'll call that 1, even though I touched 2 LEDs. Or we can call it 2. It's up to you. I don't make the rules. Actually, I kind of do. Okay, let's do the other side. So these are all working still. Clear EEPROM. Whoops. First I gotta hit the reset button. Clear EEPROM. Flash with firmware. Okay. And we've got OLED. Let's unplug and replug. Okay, they're all working. 1 sounds good. Okay, so those are all working. Now I think it's time for rotary encoders. Because I think you put the encoders on and then put the plate on. Although with the Kyria plate, I don't think it actually matters. Let me go back to bench only, even though it didn't actually change anything. Well, that's how it's done. You've got 5 pins on the bottom. The push button is a switch. And right is an event in QMK, and left is left is an event in QMK. Say that 10 times fast. Or 1 time fast. There's the other one. Yeah, on my Kyria, I have 2 rotary encoders. One of them is mapped to a volume and mute, and the other one doesn't do anything. But if I ever start using that board again, I am going to make the left one control the RGBs. But to be honest, I don't see myself using it again. It's not that I don't love it, it's just kind of like I don't use Slackware anymore. I started with Slackware, and I've moved on. I started with a Kyria. Well, I didn't start with a Kyria, but that was one of my early boards, and I've moved on. Okay. So that one's on there. Now it is time for plate and switches. I'm going to turn the soldering iron down and move some of the stuff out of the way for a minute while I get situated for switches. Yeah, for me, encoders and OLEDs are kind of just bling. I do really like having LEDs because I think the animations are fun, and having it show up pink or a little siren or Cylon red. To be honest, I think the biggest thing for me is hot swap. I know Kyria has hot swap if you use Mil-Max sockets. I don't like Mil-Max sockets. I had a bad experience, and I prefer Kale sockets. That's really what it boils down to. Otherwise, I like the Kyria. I really do. And I plan to build another one as soon as Thomas has metal plates. I know I can get them made now, but, you know, I don't know enough about how to make it whatever. I'd rather just buy one from him and also help support him. And I'm not in a hurry to build another Kyria. I've got like 6 keyboards of my own to build that I still haven't, so... Oh wow, that is very clicky. Is what gum? Oh, no, they're the knobs for the rotary encoders. But he wraps them up like gum. It's less that I care about hot swapping and more that I want to be able to. But I also feel like I'm getting to the point where it's less of a concern because I'm settling on switches. Like I'm not swapping switches all the time. Most of the time I swap switches is because I'm swapping to a different keyboard and I just happen to put different switches in. But I built a Kyria with soldered on glorious pandas. And I loved them. And then I used my corn with boba gums. And I fell in love with that. And now I'm kind of like, well, I like to be able to hot swap switches. Even if I don't do it very often. I, in fact, got 5 stroopwafels. But one of them, or only one of them, is mine. Yeah, I also like tactiles, but I'd heard good things about the boba gums, and I loved the pink color, so I thought I'd try them, and I was like, ooh, these are delicious. And so I used them for a while, and then I got used to my corn, and then I built like 4 more corns. And I have a Cornish Zen on the way, I have a Cornelius on the way. I'm a regular corn farmer. And that's extra funny because I'm from Iowa. I can already tell I am going to buy some of these myself. They just... I have to build a board with these now. It is a requirement. I really want to say... Oh, well, they're not Europe. That's UK. But I was going to say, I really want to say mech boards. Split KB has had them, but I don't know if he has any in stock. Keycaps might. Yeah, he probably just ran out of stock and he hasn't gotten back around to it yet. He's been really busy, but he's been catching up a lot, which is really good because he was super behind for a while. Oh, fuck. So that's one bad thing about putting the encoder on, is that it's taller than all the switches. So I can't just drop this in here like this, and that's annoying. Okay, but we will figure it out. And because that is a different level, let me fix the focus. Let me fix the focus. This is where I wish I had a little knob on my desk where I could change the focus on the fly with the knob. Okay, let me just autofocus it and then lock it in place. Okay. I mean, I do. I have this, which I would love to turn into a focus wheel. But the software that I'm using to control the focus on this camera, I don't think has ability to do keyboard shortcuts. And that's how I would wire it up. I need to sit down at some point and mess around with it and maybe even write a little control program that can do it for me. Oh, I'm sitting here like, why the hell is the solder not going? It's because I have my temperature turned way down. Way down. That's more like it. See you, Bruno. Thanks for stopping by. Now it's the noise canceling is doing too good of a job. Alright, that is all of the switches on this side, and let me just... it's not. I was gonna say, let me just make sure I didn't miss any, and I missed 1, 2, 3, 4 switches. How could you let me do that, Kaz? You're supposed to be paying attention to my quality control. What am I paying you for, anyways? Yes, you. Hmm. I'm actually running low on solder. I thought I would never get to the end of this reel. I bought this thing 6 years ago, maybe. Back in like 2015, whenever I got my OG Ergodox kit, because that's what I bought it for. And then it just sat in a box for years. And then last summer I was like, keyboards! It has treated me well, though. Built a bunch of keyboards with it. Some just fun electronics kits. I'm telling you, man, soldering is not that hard. With this particular build, the hardest part of it is getting the damn switches to stay in the right place when I sandwich all the plate and everything together so they don't pop out. That's the hardest part. Even the RGBs on this isn't that bad. Because look at this. Okay, great. The switches are in there. Oops. They're a pain in the ass. Hence all the blue tape that still doesn't even do it for me sometimes. I don't know. That's all the soldering. Now, to test everything before I do final assembly. So since they have TRS cables, or a TRS cable, I should say, I'm going to test with their cable. Because if it works with my cable and doesn't work with theirs, that's not very useful to them, right? Okay, so there's that. Yeah, no magic smoke. Okay, so we've got Kyria on both sides. Got... Fuck. This side with the LEDs again. What's going on there? Okay. Well, I will fix that in a moment. But first, let me pull up the QMK tester thing. Run through all the switches. Okay, all the switches work. OLEDs work. Those LEDs don't work. Let's see, now they all work. And now that one's Sunny Beach. See, now 7's not working, but 8 is. We're just going to reflow a couple of LEDs here. Alright, I'm calling that good. Okay, now we get to put together the whole case. Where's my bag O case hardware? There's my bag O case hardware. Oh no, wait. Okay. So I was about to put the screws in here for the OLED cover, but this is a high profile case, which means the OLED cover is integrated in. It goes on top like that. So it doesn't attach to the PCB. And let's do the focus. Good enough. Okay. Had to make sure I didn't make the same mistake as yesterday. Okay, so one really awesome feature this case has is it's matte black, but it has a transparent layer. What that does is that lets the underglow shine around the edge. And I've seen pictures of this. Oh, it's nice. It's really, really nice. It's a very, very nice effect. So I'm excited to be building one of these. I do intend to build one of my own with that effect someday. Oh, and this is a frosted one too, so it's not even transparent. It's a diffused. Even better. So I am actually going to have to bust out the guide for a second because I don't know which layer the plate is. Oh, actually, maybe I do. Does that seem reasonable? I think that seems reasonable. And then this goes on. I'm pretty sure that's right, but I am going to double check before I put everything completely together. Yeah, I'm 90% certain that's the order, but we'll see. Fortunately, Thomas has really, really good um, documentation. Okay, yep. That is correct. What's up, Draven? Almost done with this build. Just need to finish assembling both halves. Put some caps on it for a minute so I can type on it. Because it's box jades. And I'm very curious about the box jades, so I want to type on them. Just tore up a Reuben. That actually sounds like a brilliant idea. I love a good Reuben. So what I'm doing right there is these spacers aren't quite long enough to make it through all the way through this extra layer of acrylic here. But that's fine because the screws are extra long. So what I'm doing is I'm loosening the bottom screw, which makes the spacer stick up just a little bit, then the top screw can bite. And that is by design. It is meant to do that. Okay. Kind of wish the screws were just a little longer, but that's fine. There, that's better. Okay. What the hell is this for? Okay. I really hope that's for the other half, because I don't see a missing plate or layer here. Okay. So that one is assembled. Let me just tighten the screws around here. I'm not going to tighten those just yet because I want to take the protector off first. Okay. So that's one half. Do a quick little cleanup and then do the other half. Okay, no, it was for the other side. Okay, that's fine. There isn't an extra black corner piece. I think when I was moving the bags around, one of them fell out of the bag, and that was for this side. Because you've got, for the case, you've got the translucent, you've got a regular, shit. I don't remember. Yes. So you've got this. So that's 2 pieces, 3 pieces, 4 pieces, then the top. And what you have is 1, 2, 3, 4 corner pieces. Because the OLED cover goes on the top of everything. It's its own kind of mini layer. I don't know if you can see that. I think there are some case designs that have it like embedded into the top layer somehow. But I don't think Thomas has any of those. Getting closer. Alright, that is fully assembled. And I'm going to put some switches and stuff, or some caps and stuff on it in a little bit. And give it a full once over. But other than that, I think this is good. Let me just take the peel the OLED plastic off. I even have some black keycaps that'll go nicely on here. I think these are the, nope, that's not it. I don't know if I have quite enough though. But these. We'll see. All right. There we go. Since it doesn't have caps on it, I'm not going to try to do a sound test. But I will record one on this. I will put some caps on it. I will type on it a little bit. And I'll get that later. But for now, this is finished product. I'm going to put the... Oh no, it's not quite finished product. My bad. I'm going to put the extras in a bag here, because we've got a bunch of extra switches. And a couple of cased parts. It's not finished product yet because I haven't put the bump-ons on. Oh, I haven't put the knobs on. Jeez, I'm a mess today. Okay, now finished product. I don't know why, but none of these boards have caps. I'm hoping folks are not expecting to have caps because they don't have caps. But like I said, I will put caps on this one so that I can test it out and type on it, because these are nice and snappy. Let me actually kill the noise and kill the noise canceling. So they feel really nice. They're good weights. They have a nice crisp snap to them. And as much as I'm not a huge fan of the clicky part, they feel really, really nice. But of course, this isn't a great test without caps, because caps will make the sound very much different. But I will do that later, because I have some other stuff I need to take care of, and I'm going to call it a stream today. And that's one more Kyria done. I have two more to build. I have one that is missing just a rotary encoder. Like, I have the knob, I have everything for it, just missing the rotary encoder. And the other is missing both encoders and all of its switches. So there isn't a whole lot left I can do on that one, but I will do most of the other one probably tomorrow, maybe next week, because I'm not going to get the rest of the parts until next week anyways. So it's not a huge hurry to do it, but at least these two are done and can get shipped off. Sorry. And yeah, so that's the stream for today. Thanks all for hanging out and dropping by and good stuff. I really dig this. I'm gonna have to build one. Maybe I won't even wait for the metal plates. I'll just put like Boba U4s in here or something, because it just looks sharp. I really like the matte black, and then the underglow layer. That's why the underglow layer is one reason I'm not like pushing to do this right now, because I want to have a better setup for typing tests. So I'm gonna try to set that up upstairs. But I can't right now because I have stuff I need to do this evening. 5 o'clock, and yeah. So, oh, and when I was saying I'm almost out of solder, so this is my reel of solder. I don't even know if I have enough to finish both of those other boards, but I will get some more because, yeah, just pick some up somewhere. I'm kind of amazed it has lasted as long as it has. But, you know, it's bound to run out someday. So anyways, that's it for today. Thanks all for hanging out, and